Alright, hello everybody, welcome to the video. You're probably watching this if you're really interested in working with Robinhood, and you probably came from my Snapchat story. If you aren't from the Snapchat story and you're just a random viewer, welcome to the video. I'm going to be showing you guys how to purchase either shares or options on Robinhood, and we're going to be using stock here, Apple for example, and let's walk through this. Okay, so I could make a video also on how to set up the account and everything else, but if you gotten to this point and you just don't really know what to do with all this on the page, it's actually a lot more simpler than what you think. Robinhood is designed very easily for new investors, and I love the actual setup of it. I don't use Robinhood personally right now. I have a few stocks left over in it, but I use everything on TD Ameritrade, so I'm just going to be showing you guys what I've experienced and how I've learned to use Robinhood. Okay, first things first is you have the search bar up here, and I typed in ticker symbol AAPL, or you can just type in Apple, for example, and it brings up this page. Now, there is a little bit, it could be a little overwhelming, especially if you don't know much about stocks or you're really new to it. So first things first is these three tabs right up here. It's just ads to get you to keep on looking through different stocks in Robinhood. Now, this is our stock here. We have Apple. This is our price point of $122.12 right now. As you can see, we are looking on the chart of the 5-year. As it's highlighted down here. So if we go back up to right up here, you can see that over the past 5 years, we've had an increase of 314%, which is an increase of $92.62, okay? So if I change these different time charts and change it to 1 year, you can see that over the past year, it's increased 85%, which is $56. And it keeps going through all these different charts of how we view this stock of Apple. So over here is a 58% buy, and this is what an analyst rates it as. I don't know personally much about these analysts in Robinhood, and I wouldn't take this too far into consideration when buying a stock. Okay, so now that we've basically went over the actual chart itself, let's dig a little bit deeper and look at the certain time frames. So we have the 1 day here. We have the 1 week, 1 month, 3 month, 1 year, and 5 year. These are the different time frames as you can look on the stock. Now let's take it back and look at the 1 week chart, okay? And if you scroll over, you can see that it includes the date, the actual specific day, and the time of the stock. And you can scroll on and see the different prices and see how the percentage increases and the day-to-day price increases. So it's pretty simple. There's no crazy lines or any volume bars or anything insane that will really confuse you with this chart on Robinhood. And that's why I really like it for beginners, because it's super simple to get used to and to learn how to read this chart. It's basically like any other chart you would learn in school, and it goes along, shows you the day, shows you which price, and shows you the percent increase or decrease. Okay, so now let's go over here where things are going to get a little interesting. Right over here we have buy Apple. So we're going to invest in. So you can choose either shares or dollars. Now for beginners, if you don't have a lot of money in your account, let's say you just have $100. Well, $100 isn't going to be able to purchase one whole share of Apple at this point. So let's change this over to dollars, okay? So let's say you want to throw all $100 you have into this one share of Apple, okay? So we're going to type in $100. Now it brings up our estimated quantity of 0.818886, whatever. This is the share amount that we have of Apple. This is what $100 will get us of Apple. And literally all you would have to do after this is type in your $100, click review order. Now this is going to submit as probably like a limit order. I'm not going to get into the different order types because you're probably not too crazy about what price you get into exactly. And then down here, I have mine crossed off because it doesn't really matter, but down here should be your buying power available. This is how much money you have in your account that you're able to purchase stocks with. Not what you're invested in, but how much money you have to spend on either stocks or options. Now, there is an options button down here, and if you would like to check those out, well, I can do a separate video on that, but I'm just making it real simple and real quick and easy on here. Okay. Now this is kind of important. As we scroll down, we can see the About section. It gives a great description of the company Apple, and if any other company that they do. As long as it's a pretty solid company, they give a really good description of it. It gives you CEO, the market cap, which is very important in some stocks, employees is whatever, price earnings ratio, that's very important as well if you're a little skeptical in certain run-up stocks, dividend yield, obviously that's very important, as if you're looking for a higher dividend stock, then you want to keep this in mind as well. The average volume, you're probably not going to be day trading, but if you were to be day trading and swing trading, you would look for a higher volume. Now down here, as we keep scrolling, you can see we have news, and I really like how they incorporated this. Now there's a lot of news articles that get thrown out into higher companies that are very popular, and a lot of people talk about it, so there's sometimes tends to be too much information about these companies, but I see this news section being very minimalistic and it's put together very well. You can see they release about one news article a day. It's when some type of online news article includes the name Apple in it and they talk about it, and they include it on the site of Robinhood so investors can look at it and just briefly read over what's been happening lately with the company. Now this is another section down here as we scroll down to analyst rating. As of right now, they have a 58% buy on Apple, a 33% hold, and a 10% sell. There's a lot of different controversy on who these types of analysts are. You can see a lot of them are from this Morningstar, obviously, for Apple, and there's a couple other companies that do it for Robinhood. Again, I wouldn't look too much into the analyst ratings on Robinhood, as I would do your own research and look out into different websites and really come to a conclusion on different point of views from what people believe in Apple. Obviously, your own decision in buying the company is very, very important, but these analyst ratings are sometimes just skewed. Now, here's another good chart down here is earnings. Now, earnings is a very important part to most companies, but if you're investing into a company for 3, 5, even 10 years, you're really not too interested in how the earnings look, but it is definitely something very interesting to look at. Now, it's kind of hard to see these little dots, but you can see that there's a bright orange dot, which is the actual, and then there's a little gray dot almost like, which is the estimated. So there's always estimated per share earnings that are expected before the company releases earnings, and then there's an actual earnings which comes out, which are actually the earnings. So we're looking at the horizontal line right here, and this is a great example. Q1 fiscal year 2020, okay? And during Q1 fiscal year 2020, they had an estimated of lower than what they actually got. Around $4.50 would be pretty close to what they were estimating, and they surpassed that and got above the $4.50, which shows this orange dot above the estimated per share price. And you can see that Apple has been doing pretty well with what their estimated is and what their actual is. So something very important that you could also look into is the different quarters in the year. There's 4 quarters for a company, and each quarter they release their earnings. And most companies have an estimated per share earnings, and then they report their actual, and that really makes a big impact on how well the stock does and impacts what happens to the stock in the future. And then lastly, we have people also own, which is a little just throw in again, just trying to get people to look at other stocks. Again, it even says itself, it's not an investment recommendation. No one's recommending you to get these stocks, but people who are owned in Apple and own shares of Apple also look at Microsoft, Tesla, Amazon, and Facebook. So yeah, hopefully this was pretty informational for you guys to look at. If you don't use Robinhood, obviously you probably weren't watching the end of this video, but if you were using Robinhood, you were interested in looking into buying some shares of, let's say, Apple or any company, remember to click the invest in, and you can either do dollars or shares. Again, I would choose dollars if you want a specific amount of money you want to invest into that company. Let's say you only want $10 in the Apple. You can simply put $10 in Apple. Yes, you're going to have less than what you would if you put $100 in the Apple because you're putting less into the actual stock. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was informational. If you guys want me to make more types of videos to help you guys out, definitely let me know. Leave comments in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.